Let's get insights from Professor Franco of the UP Department of Political Science about a possible leadership change in the House of Representatives. Magandang umaga sa'yo. Welcome to the show.
Magandang umaga, Gretchen. Magandang umaga sa mga nanonood.
Una-una, ito yung inaabangan nga ng mga tao ngayong araw, yung rumored leadership change in the House. Kagabi, nakita natin nag-iimpake yung mga tao dun sa kanyang opisina. Do you think it was just a matter of time here, and what did you think that was the defining factor that led or will lead to this?
Well, we heard reports that Speaker Martin Romualdez and the President, together with Sandro Marcos, met, I think, last night. And if he indeed resigns from the speakership today, and if the President really talked him into it, then it goes to show that he has really become a liability to the President, no? People must understand that this flood control investigation is a defining moment of the Marcos Jr. presidency. Naging untenable yung posisyon ni Speaker Romualdez, not only because he is close to the President, but because he is a cousin of the President.
It was really the links to this flood control probe that I guess move that needle. But siguro pinatotohanan nito yung statement ni Congressman Toby Chanco that no one moves without the approval of Malacanang, that's the number that counts. Do you think it's the same over at the Senate with the change in Senate presidency?
Well, if that is the case, because previously the Senate has always been regarded as a more independent chamber, but then there's a perception that the Marcos presidency has not been very active in sort of intervening covertly in Senate matters. And that has become some sort of a criticism against him, that he's kind of weak. And if he indeed has intervened, recently in the Senate, then that is an indication that he's responding to criticisms, and that indication that he is really serious in this investigation. Kasi kailangan makitang seryoso siya eh. Otherwise, walang mangyayari dito.
And speaking of a turning point in governance, he himself has said it na ito nga ay turning point sa kanyang administrasyon. Do you see that that being true? And are you confident in this probe in the ICI, the Independent Committee for Infrastructure, remaining impartial, even if it is formed under budgeted by the Office of the President?
Yes, we have to believe in the commission. Of course, sa akin, mas okay if there is a law. As I've read, there's more teeth to the bills being proposed in both chambers of Congress, and but then we have to act very quickly on this matter, and that's why there's already the ICI. Alam mo, the only indication that the commission is serious if they're also targeting politicians. Kasi in both houses of Congress, puro allegations, but then wala talagang politician masyado na nadiin, sa DPWH at saka sa contractors focus yung investigation. So I think this commission should really make an effort to zero in on politicians. Kasi unless you focus on politicians, then you will not know how the insertions work. which is at the root of the problem.
And sabi nga ni President Marcos, he will spare no one, not even his cousin, House Speaker Martin Romualdez. In the event that he does step down, do you see that as a severing of ties between the President and his cousin? At mukhang pwede nang lumutang yung pangalan ni House Speaker dito nga sa ICI.
Yeah, severing of ties, probably, of course, not as cousins, but I can just imagine how awkward it was last night, no? I mean, if indeed they met, no, as reports said they did.
Pero ito nga sabi nga ni Congresswoman Rene Co, no, she does not want to spare the office of the president when it comes to these flood control insertions. Kasi kumbaga parang he could not have been without the knowledge na may ganun. I mean, what would you make of that? Kasi kumbaga parang hinayaan din na mamuno si House Speaker Romualdez for the past 3 years. At ngayon lang nangyari ito.
Yeah, I agree that I agree with Congresswoman Rene Co. And in a sense, tama ka, we should have seen this coming. Mainly because when Speaker Romualdez became Speaker, I think he made his wife a member, the chair of the House Committee on Accounts. So it's quite what do you call this? It's not surprising, but it's parang grabe naman, di ba? And I think the president initially must have felt that the speaker can help him, no? But then that's the trouble with dynasties, di ba? Paano mo papakagalitan ng pinsan mo, no? Kaso kinailangan niyang magkaroon muna ng ng mga alegasyon at kailangan pumutok ng ganito yung issue bago niya pinagsabihan siguro as what happened last night, di ba? So parang tama ka, I mean, the president should have been more circumspect, no, in choosing him or in supporting his speakership in the first place.
Maybe it has become glaring that the speaker has become a liability to his legacy. But Marcos as an anti-corruption champion, how are you taking that?
Yeah, and of course, people, I mean, it's commonsensical for people to not take it seriously, given the legacy of corruption by the Marcos senior administration. And I think that is probably the reason why the president is really trying very hard to be perceived as serious in this investigation.
I mean, does he want to like change his family's legacy altogether, be different from his father? Yung ba yung bubog niya?
Yeah, yun ang nakikita ko, no. Of course, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but then can you imagine tumakbo siya and nanalo siya on the basis of the fact that he wanted to sort of revitalize his family name. And it's going to be parang if this flood investigation is going to be his legacy, then he better do it well, no? Kasi very much linked ito, of course, to corruption. Ang hirap na ang legacy mo, meron kang pinabayaan, meron kang pinalagpas na issue na sana may nagawa ka, no?
And what changes are you hoping to find, apart from actually investigating politicians here in the flood control probe? Ano pang nakikita mo dapat maging pagbabago? Kasi parang pag sinabi nating corruption, it feels like opening a Pandora's box. Ang lalim at ang lawak. Ano kaya yung dapat makitang pagbabago rito para hindi maging rhetoric lamang?
Oo. Clearly, kahit na sabihin mong marami tayong mga batas and mga rules, no? Against corruption, ang dami na nga eh, di ba? Um, pero meron nakakalusot and mainly because of informal practices that have become accepted, no? Yung insertions, congressional insertions, talagang yun ang source eh, no? Come to think about it, no? And I support moves to make the budget hearings more transparent, especially the BICAM. Do away with yung small committees. Dapat at every step of the way, dapat merong recording of what transpires in these hearings. So that's one solution. The other solution would be, of course, dapat may makulong. And kasi nakita natin systemic, no? So meron ding Bureau of Customs, no? Accountability yun sa mga sasakyan. Meron din yung PAGCOR. So these are parang may ano eh, no? Maraming na-discover na ang taong bayan regarding this flood investigation issue. That's why napaka-phenomenal nitong issue na to. And so clearly, there has to be changes in the way these agencies operate. At sana, yung commission, bagamat marami silang rekomendasyon, no, na isasalang, sana they should also consult corruption experts para makita yung para magkaroon ng organizational audit, no, sa mga ahensyang ito so that they can see the loopholes. Kasi kailangan hindi magkaroon ng discretion yung mga tao, no? Yung mga officials over big amounts of money. Saan nang gagaling yung discretion na to? Paano nangyayari to? So, and clearly, ang end goal is to really make this more transparent.
There are rallies coming up over the weekend, September 21, proving to be or moving to be a big day. How do you think will rallies make a mark in this point in history? Maraming tayo nakikita online, pagod ng mga Pilipino, maraming social media posts. But also, we've had 3 EDSA people power rallies, protests. Do you think that's still an effective strategy now to get more results?
They are very effective, no? Nakita naman natin that the government is listening, at least so far. And you know, Gretchen, this is this is very important, yung civil society and social movements na mobilization efforts. Kasi pag nakita mong nagfe-fail na yung checks and balances sa gobyerno, saan ka pupunta, no? Kundi yung pupunta ka dun sa sa mga mamamayan who will seek accountability. That's why I'm also joining the rallies on September 21 sa People Power Monument. As a convener of every woman, I'd like to invite everyone to join us sa People Power Monument.
Pero may mga nangangamba na this will become violent. I mean, if you take a look at Nepal, what has happened there, in Indonesia, what has happened there, dito sa Pilipinas, anong tingin mo, maaari bang mapunta doon? Baka gayahin ito, yung mga pangyayari sa ibang bansa? Mga anti-corruption protests?
I don't think so. On our part, we've made every effort to ensure that the rally will be peaceful. At yung sa Nepal naman kasi tinanggal yung internet, 'di ba? So, and that's why Gen Zs really went crazy. At saka sa pagkakakilala ko sa Pilipino, ang haba ng PC. Yung sa ibang bansa, sa ibang bansa parang dinagdagan lang ng allowance yung mga lawmakers. You get what I mean? Sa atin, ang tagal na nito. Araw-araw, nakikita natin sumasakay ng pumipila para makasakay sa, makapunta lang ng trabaho. Araw-araw, tuwing na lang may mga baha. Ngayon lang,
Tapos ngayon lang nangyari itong ganitong malawakang investigation. Tapos at may mga protesto, talagang dapat naman, no? At for as long as hindi pinipigilan ang pagpoprotesta, I think malayong maging violent yung mga protests, di ba?
Pero
Kasi
may isa rin ako nabasang katanungan, no? Ito, syempre, lalabas ka nga para maglabas ng mga hinaing, pero anong goal nitong mga protesta? Bukod sa getting heard, what do you think is the effectiveness of these rallies, and how do we measure that effectiveness?
Yeah, that's a good question, no? I think the effectiveness of these protests is to prove to the government that the people are watching, that hindi nila palalagpasin itong issue na to put pressure on the government to work very hard to make these investigations work for the people. So yun yung mga hinaing na nakapaloob dito sa mga protests na to. Hindi kasi pwedeng pabayaan na lang, dahil yun na nga, nalulusaw na yung accountability within the branches of government. So saan ka pupunta kundi sa mga civil society and social movement?
And over the past weeks or so, we've seen also the rise of young bloods in Congress. Tingin niyo po ba nagbabago na rin yung bagong henerasyon ng mga politiko? I mean, of course, Congresswoman Franco is from the Makabayan Bloc. That's pretty much expected for her to be more forthright. But we also have Representative Kiko Barzaga, who has his own style. We have Representative Javi Benitez, who did not sign the manifesto of support for the House Speaker despite being part of the majority. Ano pong nakikita niyo po dito sa mga bagong politiko o kaya yung mga bagong trends in politics?
Well, it's a pleasant trend, no, that young people are making it in formal politics. Kasi kung tutuusin, they form a third of the voters. So dapat lang na they are represented in Congress, no, and in government. But then hindi naman porke bata kailangan iboto o kailangan suportahan, no, na politiko. Kailangan merong substance, may sense din, no. Reneco was a student in our department, so and that I'm very happy how things turned out for her.
Well, how do you see these events influencing the 2028 elections? Is this a redrawing of political lines, party lines? Of course, in the Senate, we see now Senator Risa Ontiveros being part of the majority, which is quite surprising how she ended up there. Pero anong nakikita mo rito? I mean, how is this flood control probe influencing the political parties, how they're formed, leading up to 2028?
That's a very good question. I could sense that this investigation has a potential to change the narrative in the 2028 elections, no? And I hope it's the narrative would be towards a goal that will make progressives more palatable, no, in terms of getting votes, no, from the general public. Tapos dahil anti-corruption, we're veering away from yung from the Duterte era where ang gusto natin yung hyper-masculine na leader. So ngayon parang ang gusto naman natin yung matino, may effort na eradicate ang corruption. Sana nga mabago ang narratives. And yung alliances, of course, that will follow.
Oh, it is definitely a phenomenon in itself. I mean, watching everything, I guess it does somehow affect all the branches of government, and pati na rin yung umaabot pa hanggang sa lifestyle check ngayon, no? not just the political scene, even the entertainment scene, public figures in general are being scrutinized here. So it is a defining moment in Philippine history. And thank you for helping us sift through things and understand what's happening. Abangan po natin ng mga kaganapan ngayong araw na ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong oras. We have Professor Jean Franco of UP's Department of Political Science.
Maraming salamat, Gretchen. Thank you for having me.